So, if we are changing, we are in a changing environment, are we changing ourselves? Are we changing ourselves? Because if we don't change, we become obstructors. Definitely. If you are not changing, you become a problem. So let us change ourselves so that we can now begin to appreciate the results that we are talking about. And thanks to the JSC Secretariat for its effort in bringing Justice Gidudu to Zimbabwe and arranging and coordinating all the workshops that will take place in the course of the week. As I understand today, it will be the judges and the magistrates, and for 2 days, 3 days, I suppose, followed by the other departments. He's going to be very busy, indeed. I also want to express my utmost appreciation to my counterpart, the Chief Justice of Uganda, for allowing Justice Gidudu to come to Zimbabwe and facilitating the training of players in the justice delivery system.
The symposium to us as Minister of Justice is very important in the sense that it brings together all levels of the judicial fraternity under one roof with the view to unlock the utility of training good practices in the fight against corruption. In that vein, I wish to pay tribute to the Chief Justice for his remarkable aptitude to forge smart partnerships with sister jurisdictions such as Uganda in order to share experiences in the fight against corruption. I must say, as Minister of Justice, this is not our first interface with Uganda. We have our JLOs, the Justice, Law and Order sector, where we collaborate a lot with Uganda. In fact, we have been on a study tour to Uganda to get to know how they also coordinate themselves in the justice, law and order sector. So thank you very much, Justice from Uganda, for once again coming to share with us. I know you mean well, you want us to improve and also to get to the levels where Uganda is also attained. Let me also pay tribute to the Judicial Service Commission for their ability to develop and implement capacity building strategies to fight corruption in its various forms. We are proud to be policy formulation partners of the JSC in our collective endeavors to implement aspirations of Vision 2030, which are anchored on improved governance and the rule of law, and an aggressive fight against corruption in all its forms.
The Republic of Zimbabwe is a party to the United Nations Convention against corruption, which is the only legal binding universal anti-corruption instrument. The instrument, among other things, seeks to promote, facilitate, and support international cooperation and technical assistance in the prevention and the fight against corruption, including in the important area of asset recovery. As part of the anti-corruption drive, the Republic of Uganda established the Anti-Corruption Division of the High Court of Uganda in July 2008. Its mandate was to provide an orderly mechanism for the adjudication of corruption cases based on merit, speed, efficiency, and fairness. The court has registered a very impressive result in its fight against corruption. And Chief Justice, a conviction rate of 90% is something that we can only, as it were, look with in admiration. And we hope at the end of this conference whatever the participants learn, they will put into motion, as it were, a means of us in Zimbabwe achieving or approaching a conviction rate that high. Very violently, very bravely for a conviction. And then something happens between the time he or she leaves Rotongo and goes to make a defense of the same case in the High Court. We have the answers, Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things that the NPA has done has been to take advantage of the immense political will. I had a meeting, Chief Justice, with the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa. And it was agreed in that meeting, together with Treasury, that we are going to take extraordinary measures that are going to ring-fence not only prosecutors, but every worker, every officer who is involved in anti-corruption work. And those measures, Chief Justice, include creating a very effective fence against compromise. It has been agreed that the salary and allowances of the workers, anti-corruption officers will be looked at in a manner that will ensure that they will be free or they are protected from compromise. And the measures also involve, from now onwards, officers will be provided with adequate accommodation houses. They will be provided with adequate transportation, that is motor vehicles. They will be provided with adequate allowances. And those measures, those extraordinary measures are to ensure that they are not compromised by the criminal cartels. Establishing what we call a liaison desk, where we are going to interrogate the level of investigation, a prosecution, and even adjudication at each and every stage, and carry out the post-mortem to ensure that from henceforth, only strong cases are brought, the strongest cases are brought to the courts. And if there are any shenanigans which happen at any of these stages, a strong liaison desk is mandated to look at it.
The wisdom is the same. Chicha chirimurutsoka. And in the way abadala bathi induke enhle iganyulwa ezizweni. The reasoning behind these two proverbs, the essence behind it is that wisdom, ideas, innovation, you name it, all things that are good are obtained when you travel to other lands to seek wisdom. Because not all wisdom resides in you as a person. Not all wisdom resides in your family as a unit. Not all wisdom resides in your country as an establishment. Wisdom can be found from seeking ideas from others. Honorable Chief Justice, I would like to, and I know that I'm speaking on behalf of everybody, not only in this room, but in the Republic of Zimbabwe, in commending you for traveling and seeking the help of others beyond our borders, but in our continent, who have the expertise that we need in order to tackle a scourge that afflicts not only Africa, but the rest of the world. His political will to fight corruption in this land. His Excellency President E.D. Mnangagwa has made it the mainstay, the cornerstone of his campaign in Zimbabwe. And this he mentioned in his first inauguration in 2017, in December, And then again, in his inauguration after the elections of July 2018, the fight against corruption. And this has received implementation through the sectors that are involved in the fight against corruption, which include the Judicial Services Commission, the NPA, the Ministry of Justice, the judges, magistrates, and everyone. So political will is there. But, as the Chief Justice has indicated, it is now up to the foot soldiers to ensure that that political will is implemented and brought into fruition. Those of you who follow football, like I do, realize that indeed you may have the best of managers, but if the players are not performing up to scratch, you will not achieve your objectives. Ask Jose Mourinho of Tottenham. So as the Chief Justice has said, he can give all eloquent speeches that his brilliant head can master, but they will amount to nothing if you, as the foot soldiers who are charged with carrying out this battle against corruption, are lackadaisical in your approach towards it, or careless, or even indeed corrupt. So it is up to us to make the Chief Justice, the NPA head, and the President look good. Let us not fail. Now, I will say, endeavors worth celebrating are not easy. The prosecution of corruption cases is perhaps the most difficult endeavor one may carry out in their career as a prosecutor. And I think the same goes for adjudication and also even investigation. Because right from the beginning, the perpetrators take extra care to conceal the very real nature of their conduct. Then there is something wrong. If you find accused persons that exchange money through eco-cash, and there have been a few, and traceable means, there is something wrong. So let us tell ourselves that this endeavor that we are embarking on, from which we will get ideas from our East African friends, is one that lends itself to so much difficulty. It's almost undoable. It is made worse by the structural nature of our criminal justice system, and this is not peculiar to us, but it is the same all over the world, and it is thus. I attempted to get statistics from SIPA as I was sitting here, and he laughed at me as if to say, carry your own cook bed and why didn't you prepare? But I wanted the exact statistics of how many accused persons appear in our courts who actually have representation in court. And I think in our hazard a guess I'll be quoted and I will roll with the punches if I'm wrong. 90% of all our accused persons who appear in our courts do not have lawyers. And they are up against a trained lawyer, trained magistrate, and they go to court. And I often say to my friends in civil society that you go and bother magistrates and judges and the Chief Justice and others when they are trying to do their work, yet you do not do the job of ensuring that our citizens who go to court are legally represented. But that is the case. But here is an interesting statistic. 100% of all accused persons who appear in court for corruption have more than one lawyer. Not only do they not all have a lawyer, they have more than one lawyer. Therein begins your difficulties. Those of you who have prosecuted for a long time, even for a short time, know that cases that come to court without legal representation are relatively easier to prosecute and are completed faster than those where you have a legal practitioner anxious to earn his keep. Now in corruption cases, we have more than one lawyer. The very first case that we prosecuted as a unit, the accused person was very famous, and I won't mention him here for fear of just perpetuating his popularity amongst you. He had 6 lawyers in tow, all speaking good English, wanting to convince the magistrate to remand him out of custody. the magistrate didn't. He then got his bail at the High Court. But the fact that I want to mention is that, can you appreciate how difficult it is? Right. It is made more difficult by the fact that you have people out there, for whatever reason, some political, some mischievous, some even both, who want to criticize you and denigrate you for the work that you're doing. So you are under pressure to complete those cases timelessly. 2018, where the accused person and his lawyers, 4 of them, have made 18 court applications. They have lost all of them. I didn't tell the Prosecutor General that they are on their 19th. Now, this is what we are faced with. And the public wants you to finish these cases timelessly. Then you have allowed something called catch and release to influence you. And you see, this is what the Chief Justice was saying, that psychologically, you are then blamed. You are then blamed for these cases, and you take the blame. In our law, an accused person is presumed innocent until found guilty, and they will make bail applications, and it is inevitable that some of them will be released on bail. Otherwise, we'll be failing in our duty to dispense justice to the public. So yes, indeed, some will be released because the legal processes demand that. But let us not let that deter us from what we ought to be doing in our...
As chair of the SADC, we are supposed to also lead the other members of SADC in the fight against corruption. And I'm sure that we are going to learn a lot from this training to help us lead these other nations. This joint training indeed helps reduce any weak links among the various organizations, that is ZAC, the police, the NPA, and the judiciary. In conclusion, I'm confident that the training will go a long way in enhancing the efficiency of the court in handling anti-corruption cases. After this training, I encourage you all to speak with one voice and confidently fight for a corruption-free Zimbabwe. This so-called catch and release syndrome has to end. I wish you all productive deliberations. Otherwise, I concur and I agree with the Chief Justice's judgment. I thank you all.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.